So according to the people management, burnout is one of the biggest risks going into 2026. And I'm someone who's seen employees go through burnout. I've seen employees quit their jobs because of burnout. And I've seen how simple methods and actions can help support those suffering with burnout. But let's go through this article because the people management says HR labels burnout as the biggest business risk for 2026. And a survey finds that the profession has more influence but is feeling the pressure, with 2/3 saying their own well-being is also suffering. So HR management, HR teams are feeling the pressure. They have more influence to get things done, but they're feeling the pressure. They are not being supported with their well-being, and they are likely close to experiencing burnout. I always say this, who supports those in organizations who are supporting the organization, right? And most organizations don't do nearly enough to support their employees, in my opinion. There are some fantastic organizations out there doing things. But let's go through this article because burnout is a massive thing. It's a topic. It's a buzzword, if you like. Something that many people experience while at work. But here are some statistics from this article. Nearly half, 46% of UK HR professionals have warned burnout will be the biggest business risk in 2026, according to a survey of people personnel by HR platform HiBob. So 46% of HR professionals believe that burnout will be the biggest business risk in 2026. And as I mentioned, I've seen people quit their jobs because of burnout. And I don't know what organization you work in or, what company role you have, but just think about this. If someone quit their job today because of burnout, or someone stopped working, they called in sick because of burnout, what kind of impact would that have on the team, on the colleagues, on the workplace? In most cases, it would be detrimental. So these things need to be prevention. It needs to be prevention over cure. And systems and methods need to be implemented to help prevent things like this. Right, let's carry on with the article. Managing employee well-being and burnout was described as the most emotionally demanding part of the job by 42% of respondents, with 63% describing HR as the company's crisis hotline. Wow. 63% describing HR as the company's crisis hotline. HR don't have time to have a crisis hotline. This is why things like mental health first aiders are great. This is why signing up to employee initiative schemes are fantastic. And it said, 42% of respondents said that it's emotionally demanding. People experiencing burnout is emotionally demanding. And although HR roles have always been emotionally demanding, the pressure on the profession has intensified as AI and the Employment Rights Bill have brought new challenges, according to Ollie Howard, head of membership at the CIPD. Burnout is a big thing. It's real. It really is. HR teams are carrying what psychologists call chronic empathic load, which is cumulative stress of managing other people's crises, emotions, and conflicts day after day. They are absorbing a continuous stream of emotional labor without the recovery time that other functions naturally receive. There should be systems and methods in place to help support employees, number one. And when those systems aren't in place, this puts a massive strain on HR, on managers, on people who have other things to do. Quite frankly, people have other things to do. And burnout, one of the big contributing factors to burnout is workload. People being overwhelmed. If you're not hiring enough staff, if you're giving people too much work, they get burnt out. And in fact, actually, the opposite. People can experience burnout when they have nothing to do. It's a bit complex, but they can experience burnout, sort of fatigue and drained and those kind of symptoms when they're not challenging their role. So you need to get the balance right, the sweet spot of challenging staff, ensuring they've got enough workload, but they're not overwhelmed, which is obviously is easier said than done. But as it says here, this isn't just unhealthy for the individual. It is also organizationally dangerous. When HR is burnt out, culture, performance, and psychological safety declines too. Psychological safety, the number one most important factor in workplaces. It needs to be supported. There are loads of ways to support it. Lots of different things. It's not a one size fits all. You need to do the right thing for your organization. Now, despite the burnout challenge, HR is gaining more influence within organizations, which is fantastic, which means HR can put more things on, according to this article anyway. With more than half of senior HR professionals said they reported directly to the CEO, with 54% saying they felt more empowered to challenge the C-suite on people decisions. Now, that's fantastic news because HR, see things day in and day out. And it's really important that CEOs take action from the things that they say, because they're dealing with people day in, day out. And Laura Think, People and Culture Director at HiBob, said, "It's been a tough year for HR expectation. Expectations are higher than ever, and teams are running lean. But we're also seeing HR finally getting the recognition it deserves at the top table. More leaders are turning to HR, not just for people operations, but for direction on culture, trust, and performance." And that's really nice to see, because as someone who works with HR professionals I deliver workshops and webinars for companies to support their employees, and I often deal with HR teams to get it organized. So as someone like me seeing this is fantastic. It's fantastic that, according to this articles anyway, some HR members are getting more influence. Now, burnout is a real problem, and there are lots of ways that companies can start to help employees reduce burnout, or at least prevent it from happening, or at least start to see the signs of when they feel like it's happening, when they feel like they're experiencing it. And a simple way to get started is a beating burnout webinar. At Love and Life, we offer a beating burnout webinar for companies with budget. I must add, for companies with budget. We also deliver this in person for UK companies across the UK, a beating burnout workshop, giving employees the tools to help them reduce the chances of experiencing burnout, and also spot the signs and symptoms before it happens, before it's too late. Now, of course, a one-off burnout webinar or a one-off burnout workshop is not going to stop all burnout. It's not going to prevent it from ever happening. But if people are equipped with simple and effective methods to help support their well-being, they are more likely to reduce their chances of things like burnout. If you're interested, if your organizations support people, you want to know more about Love and Life, head to the website, get started, contact, and we can have a chat. But the most important thing is, remember to live life better, and a happy workforce is a productive workforce.